Greetings, very good people. Kindly accept my greetings. My name is Khomotso Lekalake. Today, we are continuing with our program Unveiling the Truth series, UTTS. This is episode number 7. We are going to discuss about a very controversial subject today, the test of time, which determines a father and a mother, and those who failed to stand up to their obligation as a father or a mother. We are going to talk about the challenge of every married couple. We are going to speak about the danger that broke many families. We are going to talk about something which is not pleasant, but nonetheless, these are the real life situations. We have to address them and redress them. Today in our program, we are going to discuss about adultery. Let us look back and try to remember, where does the word adultery comes from? This word comes from the word of God. In the word of God, it is clear that a man and a woman should first get married before they can indulge into sexual activity. Most unfortunately, we are tested in many ways to see if we can stand up to the truth that we know. Before a man and a woman get married, they are just ordinary people who can have any other relationship as long as it is not a sexual relationship. When a man and a woman decided to tie the knot and come together to be one, they exchanged the vows. Their agreement means that they are now one, because when they agree on marriage and they marry and become one, it means the body of a woman belongs to the man and the body of a man belongs to a woman. What does that mean? It means there is now a spiritual connection. Let us remember again that Spirit of God, that Spirit of life, the soul, which was breathed in our bodies. It is the same spirit that activated our bodies. Then that spirit carries life. Now that life, it is invested in the body of a man as a semen, and in the body of a woman it is held as an egg, whereby during sexual activity there is that transfer or that transaction of blood. What happens? There is this creation of life between a man and a woman. That is how powerful sexual intercourse is. It is the same power that created, which is transformationally converted into semen and from a body of a man, and when it enters the body of a woman, it comes into contact with the egg, which the same transformational conversion took place, whereby the same blood became the egg. Then, much as this blood transactions takes place, there is attachment and there is a bond that is created between a man and a woman. That bond means that whatever a man becomes, he becomes what comes from a woman. It is like when you are giving yourself off as a man to a woman, then you become that woman that you are engaging with her at that level. In other words, the power that is in a woman, like in one of our discussions, the previous conversations, we did explain about the woman in comparison to Mother Earth. As the earth is holding us and we become adaptable to nature and its conservation, as human beings, we adjust to suit to what nature is offering us. That is the power of a woman. When we engage with a woman at a sexual level, what does it mean? It means like we are surrendering ourselves unto earth. Remember, we were born, we were crying from birth. That is when we were surrendering to the earth. Like a man, when is engaging with a woman, you are surrendering to that woman. You become what that woman is. In other words, you need to be one with that woman. And as Mother Earth and like what God has created, He invested a lot on Mother Earth. Like a man supposed to build a family with a woman, a man invests a lot in his family, because after marrying a woman, a man should make sure that he provides for his family. He's doing everything that he can for his family to be alive and to be in existence. Then, what gave the man a courage to serve or to provide for his family? It is that relationship that is established with a clear expectation of the offsprings. Then, with time, during those relationships of sexual intercourse, we know that where the blood of God is, there is life. With time, we'll hear the offsprings, we'll see a family growing, and there'll be children in that family. Then that is the meaning of a family and a relationship of marriage between a man with and a woman. It is a relationship which brings a lot of expectations and demands a lot of provision. And God enabled a man to be productive so that he can provide for his family. That is why in the Garden of Eden, we can remember that a man was supposed to work with God so that he can have something for him from the soil to survive. He had the vegetables and any other food that we may think of, that he had to work the ground so that he can benefit all those food from the ground. Now, adultery, what does it mean? Adultery means a high level of disruption to a marriage relationship. When we speak about adultery, we speak about the opposing force that disqualifies a man and a woman to be happy in their marriage. Adultery is when a married man or a married woman engage or indulge into a sexual activity with another man or another woman who they are not married to them. That is adultery. There are many reasons or there are many underlying reasons that brings forth the spirit of adultery. Where there is no love, peace, and joy, there is no rest in that family. Where there is no rest, there is the spirit of disturbance, the disturbing spirit, whereby a man cannot enjoy himself in his family and a woman cannot be happy in her family. This disruption does not affect psychologically only. It also affects even in the physical, whereby that lack of happiness that has now developed in the marriage relationship causes the bond to be weak between a man and a woman. When that energy, which is that life that is in a man, rise to, or it is agitated, wanting to be channeled. If there is nothing much that a man can do to work, that energy is overwhelming. And the only way to release or to transform that energy is how do you direct it. Now you can direct it in many ways, but when there is no happiness in the family, the same energy is no longer at peace. It is constantly being affected. It will always rise because whenever there is a solution needed, in every situation, the same energy works a lot. It is the same energy of life which brings solutions. Life is a solution to every situation. Immediately you bring life in a situation, it means you remedied a problem. Now, that same energy, when it is always agitated, it does not find rest in the body. It will always try to find a solution. Then the solutions are many. Number one, there is a psychological solution. There is a physical solution, and there is a practical solution. A practical solution is when you engage somebody about how you feel, what have you observed, and what does your conscience tell you. Then at the physical level, it is either you fight or you do a certain work that will help you to discharge or to redirect that energy, or else if we don't do that, that is another form of transferring energy into a usable factor. It is a sexual activity. Then in the spirit, the same energy can withdraw or can bring forth dangerous thoughts as any one of us can think of it. If that energy is not directed properly, it causes a lot of problem. Now, the easiest route to release that energy is through sexual intercourse. Now, that is why in many instances we find many people committing adultery. It is because of that same energy, because at home, where it's supposed to serve for a good purpose, there's no longer peace. Even if we can try to suppress it, maybe externally, when there is no longer peace at home, in one way or the other, that will affect you. And that energy now will start to malfunction because it needs to be utilized in the best way possible to benefit the family. Now it will cause a man or a woman to start now to look outside where he or she feels that that energy can be used properly. That is why many of the people are exposed to adultery, because of when there is no peace at home, that energy which was supposed to be shared in a peaceful environment is started to be agitated and be misdirected. People become exposed to adultery. When they are exposed to adultery, now it is like that the marriage or the marriage relationship is now starting to bleed. When the marriage relationship is bleeding, it means now a lot of energy that supposed to be serving in the family is now lost outside. Remember, a man and a woman became one in marriage. Now, when the woman is committing adultery, that oneness is leaking, meaning there will be a serious loss in that marriage or in that family. There will be a hole. Imagine now when it is a man and a woman who are cheating or are committing adultery, the whole increases. When the whole increases, all what the family has worked for during the period of marriage is becoming wasted. We have learned in many times that divorce has destroyed many families because in most cases it is out of adultery whereby marriage are shaken, people are divorcing, people are becoming scared to enter into marriage relationships. Now, after all that, that spirit of adultery continues because after any divorce situation, whoever sleep with a woman or a divorced woman, they are committing adultery. It is a danger for a woman to fall into the trap of divorce because it requires a very strong woman who will be able to have self control of her body and protect herself from committing adultery for as long as possible. With men, it becomes totally different because before the eyes of God, a man can have more than one wife. It does not mean that it is a free flow for every man to have more than one wife. Every man should have satisfied the generally accepted standards of marriage, and that marriage is respected accordingly. And when a man decides to enter into another marriage, it means that he has a proven record of that he can stand up as a man in his family. That is another angle whereby we can have to look at adultery in another in different lenses. But it becomes a danger when a man is not upfront or is not open up with his relationship outside marriage. That is adultery. When the extramarital relationship is negotiated in the family with the wife, it changes form from the situation of adultery. Now we speak of polygyny. When we speak of polygyny, a man is maybe set free from adulterous behavior. But there are strict requirements which are needed for a marriage or a relationship to be recognized fit to be another marriage in the family. This differs from one culture to the other, one custom to the other, from our traditions. We need to learn from different traditions, but at the end of the day, we need to put the word of God first because many people end up into divorce, which is completely against the word of God. And thereafter, women continue with adulterous behavior. When you sleep with a divorced woman, you become what she is, like we indicated earlier on. Then you become also adulterous. Now, there is no safe man or a safe woman when they have divorced or when they enter into a relationship after a woman is divorced is free from adultery. In other words, it is very strict for us to be careful that we do not fall in the trap of adultery, because that trap is the most dangerous trap, because it is the only act that a human being can do to defile their body. Because anything that comes outside of a man, it can be insults, it can be attacks, it can be any form of condemnation, does not defile the body of a man. It is only adultery or sexual immorality that causes that which defiles the body of a man. Sexual immorality is the worst form of the evil of sex. Sexual immorality means anything that is beside sleeping with a man, having sex with a woman. Except a man having sex with a woman, any other thing is sexual immorality, meaning a man sleeping with another man, a woman sleeping with another woman, a man sleeping with an animal, or a woman sleeping with an animal. Those are categorized as sexual immorality, which is completely different from adultery. Adultery is purely from a married couple with extramarital relationships which are not acknowledged. I think I can stop at that for today. Then we'll hear thanks to the people who sometimes engage us out of the social media platforms. But we are learning from you, good people. And we also like to thank those who are also watching our videos. I thank you, good people. Shalom.